Hey guys, Matt here again. This is the first episode in my series that I'm doing, Advice for Young Men. Now my mission here again is to help young men find Jesus, prosper, thrive, and find your God-given purpose. So today I'm going to talk about debt. And debt is something that I really struggled with for a long time. I think there's a lot of shame around it. I struggled with credit card debt basically as soon as I got one. I got one in college. I was maybe 20 years old. You know, I bought into the lie, oh, it's good to have a credit score. Everybody has a credit card, whatever. As soon as I got that credit card, I ran up credit card debt, and I wasn't able to get out of credit card debt for at least 10 years. And I struggled with it. I was always trying to pay it down, always running it back up. It was a source of major anxiety in my life, and it really held me back. So I'm going to talk about, kind of briefly my journey with this. And I'm going to talk about why debt is so dangerous, why it's designed to hold you back, why it will prevent you from reaching your goals, and some tips on how to get out of debt. So let's get started. All right, so again, I got a credit card. I was 19 or 20. I thought it was the right thing to do. I thought it was the smart, sophisticated thing to do. Like I said, as soon as I got that credit card, I had a balance, and I've struggled with that for a long, long time. So I always knew that, debt was bad. You have to pay off the balance every month, etc., etc. I could never do it. And I think a lot of people are in that boat too. So I would, get really fired up about it, get really convicted. I would work to pay off the credit card, get it down pretty close to nothing. A couple times I actually did get it paid off. But then, it goes right back up. You start swiping it again. Oh, I'm out of money. I need to buy this. I want to do that. I want to go out to eat, whatever. And next thing you know, it's right back up to where it was. I was buying things I didn't need. I couldn't say no to experiences with people. Basically, I didn't want to appear broke despite being broke. I was 19 or 20. I was 25, whatever. You're not expected to have money at that phase in your life. And, people that act like they have money at that age, nobody has any money. And they're all running up debt. There's very few people of that age, in that age group, that actually do have money. And it either comes from their parents or they're just, a total outlier. And so for basically everybody here, you don't have to try and be something that you're not. You can say, I'm a broke college student. I'm a broke 25-year-old. I'm still just getting started in my life and in my career. And I just got this revelation, a couple weeks ago when I was talking to somebody about this. I think the main source of my problems with debt was it stemmed from a lack of self-worth and from a lack of feeling like I was enough. And I felt like I always had to work to fill a hole, work to become somebody, work to appear like something I'm not. And, I was afraid, honestly, to tell people that I don't have the money. I was afraid to say no for fear that if I said no, that I wouldn't get invited back next time. So how did I get into debt? Basically, I never budgeted, never kept track of my expenses. This was a major source of anxiety for me because I had no real idea where my money was going each month, right? After college, I got a job, and it was enough to pay my bills, but I wasn't budgeting, so I was spending money at restaurants and on clothes and on just dumb stuff that I didn't need. And so the money was disappearing. It was running out before the end of the month. And so there always seemed to be this crisis, like halfway, 2/3 of the way through the month, where it's like, okay, now I have to use a credit card, right? And so, I knew conceptually that I should be saving. I knew about compound interest. I had a job where, I was educated in all that stuff. So I knew the benefits of investing early and often, and compounding your savings and being a millionaire. But I always struggled to save and pay off debt at the same time. And that's the main issue with having debt and having payments, right? There's, yes, a huge payment rate on credit cards, or a huge interest rate on credit cards, and there's interest charged on other loans as well. But it also just prevents you from saving and investing, and reaching your financial goals, reaching your personal goals, right? You're not going to be able to buy a house, save up for a house down payment, when you're sending all your money to different banks and to different credit card companies. You're never going to build wealth. So you won't be able to, and think about this. You want to get married, you want to have kids, you want to be a provider, and you want to be successful one day. You may not be there yet, but soon, soon you will be. If you have all this debt weighing you down, you won't have the luxury of letting your wife stay home with your kids and supporting her. And it does feel good to support your wife actually on one income. It makes you feel very accomplished, but you won't have that luxury. And she will have to go to work, and she'll have a baby, and she'll get 6 or 12 weeks off with her job, with her corporate job. And then you're going to have to send her back to work, and you're going to have to send your newborn baby to daycare. And by the way, that costs a lot of money too. And so you'll have somebody else raising your kids. And guess what? That's another huge bill every month as well. It's actually pretty outrageous how much daycare costs. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong if you and your family choose to have your wife go back to work, or for working moms. I know not everybody can do it, but it is better, unequivocally, to have a mom home with her babies. And I think most women would agree with that, and most women would prefer that. Right? So it's up to you as men to set up a life and set up a situation for yourself in which you can provide for your family, for your future family, and for your future children. Look, guys, credit cards, car loans, these pay-as-you-go financing schemes, Klarna, things like that, where you can finance a pizza or a new sweatshirt or whatever. These things are going to drag you down into poverty. They are going to be such a drag on your finances, and they're going to prevent you from saving and investing and being successful, right? The average car loan payment today is $748 a month. $748 a month. That's insane. So for reference, I'm blessed to have a good income. $748 a month would be a tough pill to swallow for our family. And life is expensive enough as it is, guys. I mean, there are bills coming in from every which way already, and it's, no matter how much you make, it's always going to be difficult to save money and to live below your means. But it's super important that you do so if you want to be successful. If you're in debt now, it's time to get serious about it. It's time to get serious about paying it off. It's time to start saying no to experiences, no to eating out, no to doing things that you can't afford. Like I said, if you lose some friends in the process, they were never your friends to begin with. It's going to be a blessing to get rid of those people. Most people will be very supportive and very enthusiastic, but it is a good litmus test, right? If somebody is hating on you for trying to better yourself, then you know that they're just wanting to keep you down at a lower level, and that's not what a true friend would do. So look, You might need to downsize. You're going to have to stop eating out, like I said. You're going to have to, look, if you're really in debt, you might have to really get serious and do some serious things. You might be paying too much for your apartment. You might have a huge car loan. You might need to sell that and buy a cheaper car in cash. You might need to start buying less expensive clothes for a time being, right? No designer clothes. Focus and work hard right now to get out of debt as quickly as you can, and then very soon you'll be able to afford these things later, and it won't give you an anxiety when you swipe that credit card. Right, guys? Life is not just about collecting things. Things will not make you happy. Being secure, being generous, being free to make decisions about your own life and not being tied down to some crappy job or tied to some situation or locked into some situation because you can't afford to get out of it. Being free from all that will make you happy, right? You don't want to find yourself at 50 years old, and believe me, it comes quicker than you think. I'm not 50, but I'm 34, and that's come a lot quicker than I think. But you don't want to find yourself at 50 or 60 with no money, right? No savings. It can happen very easily. It happens to a lot of people. A lot of people are in that situation. So listen, you need to act now. It's an urgent thing. If you're in debt, if you have credit cards, cut them up. If you have an expensive car loan, sell the car or pay off your car loan, but you need to get out of debt. Look, start budgeting, tracking what comes in, what goes out. I use the Dave Ramsey Every Dollar app. It works for me, but there's other good ones. Dave Ramsey's a really good person to listen to about getting out of debt. You got to cut back on non-essentials, right, guys? Groceries, rent, utilities, gas. That's it for a while, and that's okay. And it actually feels good to not buy stuff. Look, throw all the money you can, all the extra money on top of those essentials, throw that at your debt. I would recommend you still tithe to your church. Look, tithing is the one area that God has said to test him in. And I'll give my testimony on this later, but I found that when testing God in this way, by giving money to God and being generous, that it has supernaturally accelerated my finances. And doing that in tithing and testing God in that way is actually what got me out of debt and what freed me from being paralyzed by anxiety and fear of not being enough and fear of not being able to say no. Look, if there's one thing I'm 100% sure of, tithing works. Be faithful in it. Test God with your giving, and he will reward you. He will make sure that you always have enough. Anyways, guys, take this seriously. You don't want to be broke your whole life. The time to start is today. The longer you save, the more money you'll have, and you can't save when you have debt holding you back. So I hope this is helpful. I hope this is a kick in the butt for those of you that need that. I'll do another session on some other financial topics, maybe budgeting. I could definitely talk to investing, or whatever else you'd like to hear about. Otherwise, again, thank you so much for watching. God bless you and have a wonderful day.